Are you ready for this? Whoop.
Was I going down? I'm like,
I don't know. You should. Let's do that one more time. Okay.
we're going to knock heads.
Do you know what is the best? Our fresh flowers. A big giant bouquet on your countertop. It's you bring in the outdoors, indoors, the smell. But there is a caveat. They don't last. So how are we going to make these beauties just keep on living on our countertop or anywhere in our house? Well, we're going to dry them. And I have brought my bestie, the Happy Urban on social media, or Jenny Saline, who is the queen of drying flowers and crafting with them. I got to give a shout out to my favorite sponsors, Merit Medical and Rebuke Garden Arboretum, for making Modern Gardener and these episodes possible. And you. All right, let's get into it. We are first going to talk herbs.
Yes.
You got to give me a little bit of a background. How did you get into this crafting world? Because I'm not a crafter.
Well, I grew all these flowers and then they just died.
So sad.
And I just wanted to keep them around.
Yes.
So I brought them inside, I hung them upside down, I dried them, I made things out of them, and I realized that I could enjoy everything that I grew over the summer inside all winter.
All winter.
All
There's
winter.
so much fun things that you can do with dried flowers. So I did bring some cut flowers that I just cut from my garden this morning for you to show you some different ways of how to dry. Now some, like this is hydrangea.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Gorgeous and green. So hydrangeas is kind of a funny one because there's flowers that don't work really well. And hydrangea could not work well if you don't pick it at the right time. So I'm waiting for these leaves or these petals to kind of get dry.
Yep.
But if you got it when it was nice and white.
Yeah, then it would just, this is probably the one exception to the rule that we just talked about.
There's
right?
always an exception, like I before E except after C.
You want it a little bit on the aged side first. Yeah.
A little aged is always going to work better. So I have these beautiful hydrangeas. I also just brought a little bit of amaranth.
Oh, that's pretty.
Isn't that such a great color? And amaranth works so great in our bouquets.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Again, kind of getting it at its peak. You don't want to get it when it's like turning fully into seed.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of dried looking already, but yeah, if it's just going to fall apart if you let it go too long.
Now, we're going to talk Russian sage first. Have you used Russian sage?
Neither Russian nor sage.
What? Well, let's talk about Russian. Move aside, herbs. I'm going to talk about my Russian sage. So this is awesome. I love this color so much. It's, again, like a lavender, but I'm going to teach you all about Russian sage. I'm so
smells
excited.
so
It
good.
does smell good, and it kind of keeps that smell with it. And it is a great use of dried flower. The only thing is that when you're doing dried flower, you kind of want to dry it in a spray because, and I do, remember, I tell you what to do and then I don't do it. But you need to kind of clip these off and dry them as single stems. It makes it a lot easier. Or you can be like me and just hate your life after you dry. Okay, so I have dried chrysanthemums.
Yes.
But they don't, I mean, they're not going to be uber fantastic.
Right.
They're still beautiful. They still give color. And you told me that
they're kind of wet, right?
For?
So they're wet and juicy. So sometimes they kind of mold a little bit when you're drying them. So like you said, you want to make sure that you trim off all of these wet leaves and hang them in small bundles so that they don't mold and just fall apart.
And get gross.
Yeah.
They will get gross. Okay.
But it's all an experiment.
Yes. And that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Even still, like, experimenting, right? And like chrysanthemums, they are a wet plant, and maybe there's a different method that we can use.
Right, absolutely.
Because there's so many different methods that you can use for drying flowers. There's the traditional, which is
hang dry them upside down in a room without direct sunlight.
She also told me that you can hang them in the trunk of your car because
you can lay them out flat, leave them in the trunk of your car 5 or 6 hours, dry.
And for the ultimate multitasker, that's me. I love that idea. Like, I'm driving around picking up my kids and drying flowers. How efficient can I be with my flowers? The other thing with these type of flowers and dahlias, I've actually, and I have some great examples, they are so fantastic in silica. You do get a different look. So we're going to talk all about that. But traditional silica, and then there's microwaving, which has its own character.
Dicey.
So there are so many different ways that you can dry flowers. So let's get into the traditional method.
Okay.
The string and and snip. So I'm going to hold off on these guys.
Okay.
Because we're going to do them a different way. But which one do you want to choose? Do you want to go, should we go big hydrangea or Russian sage?
Oh, I like the Russian sage.
Let's go Russian sage.
Delightful.
Okay,
yes.
so you show your way.
Okay.
And that's my way too. But
So if you hang this upside down, they're eventually all going to collapse like this, and then they could mold.
Yeah.
So like Cynthia said, if you snip off the stems, like so, and tie with twine underneath your first leaf node here so that they stay together.
We're going to tag team this. Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And you want to do a max of 5 or 6 stems just to make sure that you get the best drying possible.
And
And there you go.
you can do string. I also love a rubber band.
Absolutely.
Because this is like, I mean, it works, but sometimes if the stems are really thick, I find them sliding out.
Right.
It's a giant mess.
And so that's the under the leaf node trick. It won't slip.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but
Obviously, I'm not using the right
you
trick.
know what? You have to cut this down eventually. So
Yes.
the rubber band is wonderful because you can just
Wrap
rubber
it
band it onto another string.
Okay, so let's do that with the hydrangea.
Okay.
Russian sage is off. Now these guys, just because these leaves are so big and so wompy, I'm gonna strip them, which I'm gonna strip off that leaf node. But this way, you're not gonna have this mess when you have dried these hydrangeas of these leaves crumpling and getting all over the place. No thanks. I mean, I'm a messy crafter, but I have my limits. So, okay. So I have my stems here. I'm gonna grab myself a rubber band. And the nice thing about the rubber band is it shrinks down so that when the stems are shrinking down, it is also shrinking down. So then I would just hang it like that. Let it hang on the hook. And
Love the grabby rubber too.
yeah, right?
Yep.
And 2 to 3 weeks generally is what I get. What do you think?
As long as you have a nice warm room and it's not in direct sunlight, a couple weeks it should be dry.
Or in your trunk.
Or in your trunk.
You can
5
just do
hours.
that. 5 hours. Talk to me though about heat.
Okay.
What temperature do we like to have these at for drying?
So I think room temperature is wonderful, maybe on the warm side of room temperature. If you have a guest bedroom, that's a wonderful place. A bright kitchen, but not directly in the windowsill because the sun can burn it. So really just what we're comfortable in, flowers will dry in.
Yeah. And sometimes it'll take a little longer. Like my garage can get up to like 85 degrees and I dry a lot of flowers out there.
Yeah.
But then I'm also lazy to walk out to my garage. So then I have a bunch of flowers drying down in my basement.
Okay.
And if you're in Herb's house, there's like flowers all over the place. So sometimes that might extend the length of dry time versus...
Yeah, you just want to make sure that you have good circulation with airflow so that things aren't molding. It's not too cold. That also encourages mold. So
Yeah.
what we like.
Yeah, be comfortable. Flowers want to be comfortable. Now, there are other methods for drying, and we're going down to grab it. I hope you appreciate my sound effects. So, silica gel. Silica gel is kind of an interesting tool. It is very fine sand, and if you've ever seen those little packets that are in your food or in your shoes that say, do not open or do not eat.
Desiccant.
Yeah, that is silica. It's keeping things dry. It sucks the moisture out of it. And it does the same with these flowers. So for example, you can't dry a dahlia. Like
They're tough.
upside down, they're not gonna look good.
Or a white one at that. It would turn brown.
It would turn brown. So this gorgeous thing was dried in silica, as was this dahlia. And look at these zinnias. I mean, it retains its color and it gives your house a different look.
So you just bury them in there.
Yep,
and they
you're just gonna
dry.
scoop them up. And it takes a lot longer time. It's about 5 to 7 weeks. The difference with this versus hang dry is that you do have to immerse them into the sand. So you need to have a lot of sand. It is a little bit more expensive, and there's some different silicas that you can actually put in the oven, and they just...
I didn't know that.
That's this kind of silica.
Cool.
So that you're not just wasting silica. It will turn green. You can see that it's green right now, and that's telling me that it's high in moisture because I've used it recently. But you can just put this in the oven and bake it, and it'll turn orange.
Awesome.
And then it's time to reuse it again.
Preferably not in a Tupperware.
Probably not. use it in something different. But yeah, so this is something that is unique about silica. And this is actually also dusty meal. It kind of gives a different look. That was dried in silica. So it has this kind of beautiful twirly shape where when you hang dry, it may not have that same leaf texture. So silica is a great option depending on what you want. And frankly, if we were to dry these chrysanthemums, this would be a great option.
That would work.
It's also a fantastic tool if you're getting into the crafts where you're going to be submerging them in that gel, that hard acrylic.
Yes.
And then they turn beautiful, or they stay beautiful is what I mean.
Yeah, or using hot glue.
Hot glue.
To affix.
Truly.
Yes.
You can do all those things.
Yep.
So let's talk microwave. We're both looking at each other because we both know what that means. It gives a different look. I'm not going to I am going to totally knock the microwave. I'm just going to be honest. It's going to be brown. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be fast. So if you're like, oh, I want to be fast, I'm going to do this. Some people have put microwave with the silica in there. I mean, it has an effect. I don't know if it's the effect I would want.
You need a really hardy flour for it.
Oh, you're so nice. Look at you be nice to the microwave. I mean, everybody has their different ways. This is just not going to be mine. So, yeah, if you like brown, gross, dried, dehydrated flours in 30 seconds or less, go for the microwave. If you're looking for color, you probably want to stick with the silica. And if you're wanting to preserve its actual beauty, right? That was from the garden.
Yep.
And then
hang dry.
Hang dry. Hang dry will give it kind of more that natural, aged look that you can use in various crafts.
Yep.
So after all that I have learned with you today, Herbs, I want you to tell me one weird question that I have. Answer it for me. Why do we hang them upside down?
Well, I believe that it's to preserve the natural elegance of the plant. If you're going to dry this right side up, it's just going to flop over and it'll fall apart. But if you dry it upside down, eventually it solidifies, becomes dried, and then you can't really beat it up too much.
Not too much. Yes. Well, I am doing it just because that's the way my mom told me. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I bet you're dying to see our next video all about crafting with dried flowers. Until next time, we'll see you soon. And there are other methods you can do. Are you ready for this? Oh, shoot.